What's up guys, Cheapies aka Noah back today bringing another video. This time we're doing the worst sneakers of 2021. Some of these on this list you may really like. These are just ones that I felt were the top 10 worst sneakers of 2021. There's some weird ones on here. I know number one, I didn't know it came out, and after seeing it, it's definitely has to be number one. I looked at a few other sources just to try to figure out something else, but this is the top 10 that I'm going with. So starting off the list at number 10, we have the Sacai Nike Blazer Low in British Tan. It released on August 10th of this year, obviously. That's why they're all in 2021. It retailed for $120. Currently reselling on StockX for about $90. That's the last sale in any size. Obviously, it's a collab between Nike and Sacai. They've had a decent amount of collabs. I have one of them. I have the Blazer Highs. The Blazer Low wasn't my favorite. I unboxed one of them this year. I think the Iron Gray. Better colorway than the British Tan. The British Tan just isn't a good colorway. It's too brown, and then they just kind of have red in there. The colorway is not good. The silhouette's not terrible. I'm not a big fan of the Blazer Low, and they're really chunky. That's just kind of how the Sacai is. They're not terrible, so that's why they're only at 10. And like looking at a decent amount of sneakers, I had to put this one on here just because the colorway is just not good. It's just too much brown. I mean, if you're into it, then whatever, and it's going for under retail, but it's not. I'm not a fan of it. So coming in at number 9, we have the Yeezy Knit Runner Sulfur, released September 23rd of this year. It retailed for $200, and it's actually reselling for $450. So there's a few on this list that are actually reselling more than what they were retailing for, which is kind of crazy. Plus, I think these are kind of ugly. It's basically the foam runner, but this time it's using the knit, like prime knit or whatever. I don't actually have them, but it's very yellow, and the outsole is obviously to make it more durable. It kind of just looks like, I don't know, you'd be wearing in like some plant or something, like radioactive plant. I don't know. I don't like them. They're very yellow, and the foam runners are alright because they're like breathable, and these just look like a sock. And then it's written your size on the outside. There's another colorway that's not as bad, but there's some weird Yeezys this year, and the Knit Runner is one of them. Number 8, we have the Sean Witherspoon Adidas Super Turf Jimny Cricket. This also released on September. Retail for $106. Currently, it's reselling for $110. Obviously, it's a collab with Sean Witherspoon and Adidas. There's a decent amount of his collabs now with Adidas because I think that's what he's doing. It's based on Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio. So if you guys know that character, I don't know why it's really based on him, but the sneaker itself is more like an outdoorsy, like hiking sneaker. So it's supposed to be more like rugged and stuff like that. But as you can see on this one, there's like a backpack on the toe, which I assume is removable. I've seen that on a few other things, but just the colors in general make it look not that great. I don't know if Jiminy Cricket's the best character I would have picked. I don't really know the reasoning why Jiminy Cricket was picked instead of like Pinocchio. Maybe that's just what he wanted to do, but there's too many colors on it, and it's already like a not great silhouette. So the fact that you have way too many colors and then you throw the backpack on it, it's just way too much is going on with the sneaker, and it's not my favorite. So coming in at number 7, we have the New Balance 2002R Saley Bimari. I'm terrible with names. Water Be the Guide. It's released in June 25th. Retail for $150. Currently reselling for $260. The colorway is alright. I think the problem I have with it, it looks kind of like fluffy, which is weird. It's supposed to be based off water, but it's like too blue and like too green. It's too bright in my opinion. Some people obviously really like it because they're paying for more than when it came out, but it may be just not my style. I don't really like the silhouette. There's some New Balances I just don't like the silhouette, and this is one of them. The colors are too much on there, and then the material choice on them is kind of weird. There's like this like furry like blue on it, and then there's like some weird mesh that's like oversized. So it's just a weird looking sneaker in my opinion, at least. Obviously there's people that like it, that's why it's reselling for more, but in my opinion it's not that great, and that's why I came in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we actually have another Sean Witherspoon Adidas collab. This is on the ZX 8000. It's the Super Earth. There was a Super Earth on the Superstar that came out last year, which I didn't like it then either, but obviously there's some like good stuff about it. It came out on April 16th. Retail for $140. Currently it's reselling basically around the same price. Last sale was $135. It's another collab with Sean Witherspoon. I know his whole thing is to try to minimize waste and use as many materials as possible, but this just has too many materials on it, and it's got that like extra stitching that like comes off, where if you could, I mean, you could cut it, but then what's the point of having that on there to begin with, because then you're throwing it away and you're creating more waste. So it doesn't really make sense to me. I just don't really like all the materials. I never really like a sneaker that has a ton of materials on it, just because I like it to all be clean. The colorway is not terrible, but there's just a bunch of like extra stitching, which I understand it's to minimize waste. So the idea behind it is cool, but the execution behind it isn't my favorite, and that's why it's number 6. Coming in at number 5, we have the Supreme Nike Air Max 96 Silver Bullet. There's actually a few other colorways of this, but I went with the Silver Bullet because it's more of like an iconic colorway, especially on Air Max. It released in May 6th. It retailed for $175, and it's currently reselling for $130. So obviously it's gone down a decent amount. It's obviously a collab with Supreme. Nike and Supreme do a decent amount of collabs through the year. There's some good ones, and then this one's a bad one. It's on the Air Max 96, which isn't my favorite silhouette to begin with. And then they added some like cutouts through it. I know they're like covered, but you have to be wearing like cool socks, which is fine if you want to show off your socks, but I feel like that's not the point of your sneaker, is to be showing off socks. Plus, it's just weird that they just like have it cut out like around the toe and stuff. And it's on the Silver Bullet colorway, which I think is a really good colorway, especially on the Air Max 97s. It's one of my favorites, but it's just weird with the cutouts and then like showing the sock, because like for some reason you're wearing weird socks. I just wouldn't be wearing it, and that's why it's at number 5. Now we're at number 4, and it starts getting a little easier to rank some of these because some of them are just weird. The first one is the Sakai Jean-Paul Gaultier, the Nike Vapor Waffle in the Sesame Blue colorway. There's also a black one. The Sesame Blue is just way worse. It released in September of this year for a retail of $236. Currently, it's reselling for $400, which I don't know why. Obviously, it's a collab between the three of them, and on the Vapor Waffle. I think it's probably like a Vapor Waffle High, because there's other Vapor Waffles. But you can tell by like the sole that it's a Sakai, because it's got that multiple different soles. And then there's this like extra like baseball stitching, and it's just too much. There's too much stitching across it. It may be like really like cool and like high fashion, like that kind of stuff. That's not my style. So I don't really like it. And then there's just a bunch of different colors, and I feel like the colors don't go that great together. I mean, they probably do. I don't make sneakers. I'm not a designer or anything. For $400, especially now, this is just way too much is going on. Someone probably likes it, pulls it off pretty well, but maybe I'm just not into it, and that's why I don't really like it. Now at number 3, we have the Yeezy Knit Runner boot in the Sulfur colorway. So this is basically just the boot version of the Yeezy Knit Runner, the Sulfur. So they just add like more of a boot to it. It released in November, so pretty recently. It's retailed for $400, which is very expensive, and it's currently reselling for $600. So like not a crazy amount up, but still an amount up for a sneaker that I don't really like. I know it's Yeezy, but it just doesn't work well. It's just this extended like boot on top of the Sulfur, which looks kind of weird. And it just has a different sole on it too, which is probably more for like obviously like outdoor kind of stuff, wearing in the winter. I just personally wouldn't be wearing it. There's too much stuff on it, and I already didn't like the sneaker. I mean, I put the Knit Runner at number 9, so I'm adding more. Definitely does not make it any better, so that's why it's at number 3. Then the runner-up for the worst sneaker of the year is the Yeezy Insulated boot in the khaki. It released also in November for a retail of $340. It's currently reselling for about $800, which I think is insane, especially by the looks of it. If you guys have seen it at all, especially in pictures, it's kind of like got a foam runner part to it, so there's like that extra bottom. I don't know, it's not exactly a foam runner, but it's got that like material on it, and then it's got this giant boot with like a very big cuff on the top. If you guys have seen some pictures, I'll have one on the screen, especially if Kanye wearing it. It's just like you have to put your pants in it, and it's weird. It just like has a ton of extra stuff around it for no reason. Again, this may just be a fashion thing that I don't understand, but there's some weird the Yeezy boots this year are very weird. They used to be all right, and now they're just making them like this giant like insulated like boot. It's weird, and there's too much going on. I don't know. There's obviously reviews of it. People have checked it out, but it's not my style at all, and that's why it's the runner-up for the worst sneaker of the year. And the worst sneaker of the year is actually terrifying. It's the Kerwin Frost Adidas Forum High, the Human Kive, I think it's what it's called. It also released in November, so November just didn't have good sneakers. It retailed for $250, currently reselling for $195. You guys see it on the screen right now. It's thing of basically nightmares. I don't know how Adidas said, yeah, sure, release it. It's got a mouth on like the front of it. It's got a nose I'm pretty sure you can probably remove, and some teeth. You might be able to remove all of this, and it might be a normal sneaker. I saw a picture of it with hair. I don't know if that's legit, and I really hope it's not, because that made it even worse. It's just weird. Like, I don't know how you'd wear it around, especially with the mouth and stuff on it. You guys see the picture. It's really creepy. I don't know why you'd want that. Like, could you imagine having it on a shelf in your house, like one of the shelves behind me, and you just had this sneaker with a mouth and some eyes and a nose? It's very weird. The Forum eye is actually cool silhouette, but this collab just doesn't do it. And I feel like if you guys have looked at any other lists, this had to be number one, and I feel like a lot of people have it. I don't know who's wearing it. There's probably somewhere out there who really likes it and thinks it's really cool, or like something artsy or something like that. But in terms of just general sneakers, it's not for me, and I will never be buying this. So that was my top 10 worst sneakers of 2021. There's a lot of things on here. There's a lot of Yeezys. There's 2 Sean Wotherspoons. And then there's that last one, which honestly is kind of terrifying me. I saw it, and I feel like I saw it on Twitter at one point and just kind of ignored it because I thought it was fake. And then I saw it again, and then it released, and it's just really creepy in my opinion. But there's a lot of stuff on here that I just don't think is very good. If you guys have any other opinions, any other sneakers that I would consider in the top 10, this is just why I put, there's a ton of sneakers out there. I always come out, but I put some like major ones, especially collabs and stuff like that, Yeezys, that kind of thing, to round out the list. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree with some of the sneakers I put on this list, or tell me I'm wrong, and that's fine too. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.